Hi friends, welcome back. Today we're going to be working on identifying text structures. We're going to be looking at D4, which is currently in iExcel under the very first section, Reading Strategies. Now, if you watched my video yesterday, C1, you remember how we talked about different types of writing. So there's three main purposes that our authors use for writing. One is to persuade, one is to inform, and one is to entertain. And we put all three of these sections together and we make a big pie, which is why we say that author's purpose is easy as pie to help us remember. Today and for the next few days, we're going to be zooming in on a couple major segments of informative writing. Rather than looking at all three types together, we're going to mainly look at informative writing, really nail down what informative writing looks like, and then get some practice in. If you need to kind of refresh your memory, on your note-taking page, go ahead and rewrite your pie. Make sure you make three sections with a P, an I, and an E in it. Or if you want to do it differently, you can do it like this with persuasive, informative, and entertaining in the other one. Now, zoning in on informative writing. Informative writing, remember, is when writers are writing to inform us about a topic. Their whole purpose, the whole reason they're writing is to tell us about something, to inform us. And they inform us in a few different ways. One way that they inform us is by using a model called cause and effect. Cause and effect is when something happens that causes something else to happen. There is a cause and there is an effect of that cause. For example, if you look at the text I've typed here, it's just one sentence, but it is a cause and effect sentence. When I yell loudly, my dog runs away. Here, the author, Mrs. Jansen, is using cause and effect to inform us about dog behavior. I'm using this model of cause and effect to tell you a little bit about how dogs act. When they hear loud noises, it causes them to run away. The noise is the cause, the running away is the effect. Another option for informative writing is sequential writing. Sequential writing is when things happen in steps. If you look at the example on your screen, it says, to walk your dog, you need to get your shoes and a doggy bag. Then place the collar and leash on your dog. After that, you need to grab your house keys and a cell phone. Finally, you may open the door, lock it behind you, and head down the sidewalk. Here the author is using sequence words. You notice they're underlined. You see the word then, after that, finally. These are all sequence words. The author is using these sequence words in this sequence format to show you that this particular item of walking your dog needs steps, and you have to use step-by-step instructions. The author is informing us about walking our dog by giving these steps of how to do. The next option for ways authors use informative writing is to use the compare and contrast model. This is one of the more popular models that we're aware of at this point in our education. This is when the author compares and contrasts two things to inform us about something. In my example, I write, Labradors are big, smart dogs with happy personalities, and most purebreds come as yellow, white, chocolate, or black. Huskies are also big and smart dogs, but they can be territorial and protective at times. As purebreds, they are known for their beautiful eyes and typically are gray, white, or black. Now, Mrs. Jansen in this particular writing has written about two different types of dogs, and I've named ways that they are similar and ways they're different. They're different in color and in personality, but they're the same in size and intelligence, or relatively the same. When I'm writing here in this compare and contrast model, I'm writing to inform. I'm still informing, but I'm informing you about types of dogs, what they have in common and how they're different. And I'm using the model compare and contrast. One of our final options for informative writing is problem and solution writing. For example, one problem you may have as a dog owner is that your dog may be afraid to be in their crate while you're away from home. Usually, if you put a t-shirt in the crate that smells like you and lots of treats, it will make them happier and more calm in their crate. Here, Mrs. Jansen is stating a problem that, hey, sometimes as a dog owner, you may have issues like the dog might not want to go in their crate, but I'm also providing a solution. If you put your t-shirt in with some treats, it may make that process go better. I'm still informing you about something. I'm informing you about some difficulties that may come with being a dog owner, and I'm giving you information on how to fix them. This is still informative writing, even though the type of informative writing is problem and solution. The last method for informative writing is description. Description writing is just when the author is using descriptive details, sensory words, vivid images to describe some particular topic. In my example, it says, having a dog can bring so much joy to your life, but they are also hard work and take money and time. You have to feed them, walk them, care for their hygiene, provide them with toys and treats, and train them. Here, Mrs. Jansen is describing all the elements of being a dog owner in order to inform you what it takes to own a dog. We're going to pause here. If you need to write down any of these, which I highly recommend you do, take a moment to do that now. List them out as cause and effect, sequence, compare and contrast, problem solution, and description. And go ahead and put them all in your chart under the informative section. That'll help you when you're doing your IXL. All right, now that you've got your notes down, let's go ahead and look at our IXL practice and see if we can get anything done up front. So D4 is the text we're looking at, and it gives us a text here and asks us to decide if it is sequential or cause and effect. We already know that this particular portion might be informative. Okay, we're going to go ahead and start here. Experts in emergency preparedness recommend that families practice fire drills at home. Here's what's involved. First, discuss what each family member would do in case of a fire. Make sure that everyone knows the locations of the exits they should use in the event of a fire. Second, make sure that all smoke detectors and fire extinguishers are in working order, and make sure that someone knows how to use them. Third, practice using fire escape ladders if you need them. Fourth, establish a place where family members will meet up in the event of a fire. This could be a neighbor's house or other nearby location. Finally, conduct a complete fire drill, exiting the house and using the equipment you'd need in a real fire drill. Which organizational structure does this text primarily use? Sequential or cause and effect? Well, I already know the topic of our text. Here at the front in our topic sentence, our author writes, experts in emergency preparedness recommend that families practice fire drills. So I know my text is probably about practicing fire drills, but now I need to look if I see any maybe key words that show me what the text structure is. Cause and effect would mean something happens and it causes something else to happen. I don't see any of that here. Rather, what I'm seeing is sequential words like first, second, third, fourth, and then the word finally tells me that this last portion or this last step is at the end. So I'm seeing all these sequential words. I see that our author has given us step-by-step instructions on practicing at-home fire drills. That tells me that this is a sequential piece. It's going to take a long time to load while it tells me if I'm right or not. And that one was correct, even though my score didn't move up. So sorry. We'll do one more together. The Iberian Peninsula lies on the southwestern tip of the continent of Europe. The two major nations on the peninsula are Spain and Portugal. Spain is roughly 5 times larger, about twice the size of the state of Oregon, whereas Portugal to the west is slightly smaller than Indiana. Correspondingly, the population of Spain is about 48 million people, while that of Portugal is about 11 million. The countries maintain separate languages, primarily Spanish in Spain and Portuguese in Portugal, and distinct cultures. Though both countries have bullfighting, there's an interesting difference. In Spain, a bullfight is fight to the death, with the matador almost always killing the bull. In Portugal, killing a bull in the ring was banned in 1928. I'm seeing a lot of opposites here. I'm seeing that some things are listed as things in Spain and Portugal, whereas some countries just have their own things. So I see this as a compare and contrast text structure. And I'm correct. Good luck.